Welcome back to another episode of The Canon. Today we got Doug Liman news. Thor might be meeting up with somebody. And somebody's playing Mary Jane finally. So for our first topic in the news, Doug Liman has officially dropped from the Gambit project and is reported to be going to the other side and directing Justice League Dark, which is a DC product. Sal, thoughts about all this? But before you go, okay. I told you Gambit wasn't happening.
Yes, you did. Gambit has run into its about fourth roadblock since it's been announced. So, but not all hope is lost, because with one loss becomes one gain. And so reportedly it is that he is going to direct Justice League Dark. So I'm pretty excited, but I'm also not that excited for Justice League Dark. I'm excited because they're introducing all these obscure characters. Swamp Thing hopefully will be in this, which is one of my favorites, but I just feel like this is gonna be another kind of Suicide Squad-y movie. I'm not sure, it's kind of, I know they're heroes, but it's all, when you kind of go down to it, it's a band of misfits who kind of band together and I know they're magical, which is actually really cool. I'm into that, but I have a feeling that it's going to be some sort of Suicide Squad movie.
Okay, well, funny enough, I just saw an article just said Justice League Dark is not Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, because they're not.
I didn't read it, but
it was because they're not here. I read it. It's because they're.
But why do you think? Well, okay, not even that. Why would it be a problem if it was like Suicide Squad? Why is that? Because you didn't like Suicide Squad?
Because I didn't really like Suicide Squad, and it's a totally different ballpark, I think. So that's not the biggest deal either. It's new director, new writer, everything's different. But just in my heart, how I feel now, which I'll probably change it when I start seeing some footage or whatever the story's gonna be. I'll probably change my mind. I'm just saying right now is my initial. Do I want it regardless? Yes, but that's my feeling as of now.
Heartbroken over Gambit not being made, man. That was the only thing in life I wanted. Anyway, knew that wasn't gonna happen. I mean, it might still happen, but yeah, I don't see it. And this kind of is nail in the coffin for at least a 2018 date. That thing's gonna be way down the line. Definite curveball with the Justice League Dark thing. I did not see that coming, especially if he's talking to Fox and say, hey, I'm pulling out this project, let me do something else. And not, hey, I'm pulling out this project and I'm going over here and doing this. So I believe it is New Line, which is it New Line Cinema? I'm not sure, but whatever Warner Brothers offshoot is, they're the ones that will be handling the Vertigo titles and the Justice League Dark and stuff. So as far as Warner Brothers screwing this up, putting their hands on the project, I don't think you have to worry about that. I don't think it'll get Suicide Squadded. I think whatever happens in the DCU won't affect how they go about this movie. Now it's called Justice League Dark, but these aren't villains. These aren't evil people. They have magic, but they're still heroes. They're just a little offbeat. So I don't see it necessary you need this really gritty rated R movie. I think you could really have fun with it and just go real fantastic with it. It's going to have a big budget in order to showcase everything, because you're talking about some of the players that usually are in Dark. Swamp Thing, Constantine, Zatanna, Edgerton, or whatever his name is, the Demon.
Deadman.
Yeah, even if you go Deadman. So it's just... that's a lot of special effects. A lot of special effects. Nobody's really normal in Justice League Dark. So I think it'll just be a big summer blockbuster, have fun type thing. But I don't think it'll be a big music video.
But I feel like if that's the case, to make sure they make all that money back, they're going to have to market it like Suicide Squad and somehow make it relatable to the general audience. I don't think they're gonna make their money back if.
I think you do that by making it like Harry Potter. Harry Potter's not necessarily dark, not to the end, but it's magic. Yeah. It's fun. It's it's fantasy.
But it could be a different kind of magic. I don't know. I understand.
Justice League Dark, the name, don't get. I don't know.
But that's what people
has
do
this
get.
connotation like they're evil or something. They're not.
It doesn't, but people don't know that. People who don't read comics or don't know the characters don't know that, and that's the people they're targeting. So that's what I'm worried about. That
they're going to do what to it? What exactly?
That they're going to change. They're going to deviate too much from the source, and try to make it relatable to everyone. Which is good if they can, find a median. But it's just hard to do to make it right.
Well, to me, Constantine is sarcastic as all outdoors. The Demon he's funny in the way Drax is funny from the Guardians, where he's so serious and he's kind of just oblivious to normal things. Zatanna's a cute character. Swamp Thing, I don't know. Dead Man, definitely not. But I think some of these people have natural charisma about them, where it's not going to. If you made it like kind of a jokey, fun type movie, it's not going to be like, what is this? Because Suicide Squad are villains. What they did with Suicide Squad wasn't for you because they're villains. That is weird. But these are still heroes.
Yeah.
And I think if they had to market it in a lighter tone, that's why I said Justice League Dark doesn't have to have a dark tone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand you were burnt by Suicide Squad, but I think this is huge news because now, we talked about this a long time ago, the idea of Vertigo having its own universe, and it seems like this would kick it off.
Yeah, and that was also Sandman too, right?
Yeah, I think that project is on hold or whatever, but if they could start him off with Justice League Dark and then branch off into the other movies, I'd be happy with that.
Alright.
Sad about Gambit or what, man? What's going on?
Nah, I never really had any ties to it.
Alright, see you, Doug Lyman, on the other side. Alright, next up we have a set photo from Thor Ragnarok, which shows Thor holding the business card with a very familiar address, one of Dr. Stephen Strange in his Sanctum Sanctorum. Sal, are we going to see Doctor Strange and Thor?
I think I've said it before. I wish we would have saw him or Guardians.
You did. I was watching our thoughts, hopes, and theories from the MCU.
Yeah.
And we talked about Doctor Strange.
Okay.
And you were talking about Thor might appear in his movie.
Okay,
but it seems like it'll be the opposite way around.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a nice, because Thor comes directly after Doctor Strange in terms of the slate, right? So it'd be nice to reintroduce him somehow, whatever they're doing, into the MCU, because I don't know how much the MCU will be involved in this first Doctor Strange movie. And, I'm excited for Thor Ragnarok, and I've never really been excited for a Thor movie, but I am for this one. So if I like Doctor Strange in his solo movie, why not have him in this one too? Even if it's a small part, it might be like the kind of Iron Man cameo within the Spider-Man world in Civil War. So, a small part, but significant as well.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I really hope this isn't confirmed, but I really hope that Doctor Strange is like 10 years from the present, before the present time. And because we know it's an origin story, so if you set it up where present time, he is full-fledged, what's his name? Sorcerer Supreme. Like, that would be cool. So, like, by the time Thor goes to see him, he is, like, all-knowing, wise. I was going to say Benedict Cumberbatch, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and there are some theories out there that I'll actually get into later when we talk about more Thor stuff, but I think there's an organic way to fit him in, and it's just cool. It is a little strange to think about Planet Hulk, Ragnarok, and now some other cameo, because in these set photos we see that they're in New York. So now you're talking about we're going to be on this fighting planet, we're going to be on Asgard, and we're coming back to Earth. I never thought we would step foot on Earth in this movie, which also kind of brings up a side little piece of news. Natalie Portman, like in a recent interview, said she's done with the MCU. not contractually, but as far as she knows, they're not having her in any movies. So Sal, is it weird that we're going to go to Earth? Because I thought the natural way to do this was to write her out by saying, oh, we're not going to Earth, we're on Asgard, we're here. Mm-hmm. But now they're on Earth, they're in New York, where she lives. How are they going to work around that?
Well, they did it in Avengers. I know it's a bigger story and it's not quite a Thor solo film, but I was never tied down to Jane Foster, Natalie Portman anyway, so I don't really mind it, and I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. I guess it's kind of a dick move on Thor, though, not to go see her, but we'll see how that works out.
I agree, and the one small mistake no one's talking about, Jane Foster typically was a EMT. And in the movies, they made her this big scientist or whatever. Probably because Natalie Portman is like a genius level person in real life, and they want her to play someone sophisticated. But I think her being an EMT was central to her character, because Thor really fell in love with her. Like, he was trying to understand how she could help so many people, and she didn't have no powers, and she was a woman. And so I think that one thing you change really threw it off. And so I think her character would have been a lot more relatable. She would have been like the nurse from Daredevil, Rosario Dawson. So, but anyway, so yeah. Moving on to a segment that just won't quit. Keep it or sweep it. First up, Zendaya is being reported to be Mary Jane Watson in Spider-Man Homecoming. The reports basically are that it was a misdirect that the director was setting up, and where at the end of the movie, the very end, she was going to say, call me MJ or something.
Kind of like the Robin thing.
Yeah, pretty much. So the word is no one's confirmed it, but the word is he's not happy about this. So if it is her, we don't know yet because they haven't officially said. At Comic-Con, her and the director in the face of the camera said, she's Michelle. She's Michelle. And now we're hearing this. So Sal, let's just say she is Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Keep her sweep, her as Mary Jane.
I'm keeping it. I'm actually excited that they're kind of delineating from what they've done in the past and what they do in the comics. In terms of all these characters are a little bit different. I'm not saying just because of their skin or whatever it is. But it just seems like what we're getting is different from what we've gotten before, and though like stuff like Sam Raimi's versions and then Amazing Spider-Man, they have their good things, but to really thrive in this day and age in the MCU and Sony or whatever, you're gonna have to do something different. You're gonna have to do something fresh. So I like that they're doing this. If it's kind of a sign of other things to come, I wouldn't mind it.
I am going to lightly sweep it, just because I'm not too familiar with Zendaya's acting ability outside of Disney, which was not that impressive. No one is really, but so yeah, to be a new character that we could kind of sink our teeth into, I could give it a shot. Being Mary Jane, okay, I'm expecting a certain level of quality screen time. I'm not saying she can't do it. She's unproven to me, so I want to see. As far as her looks, I buy that. I mean, because you're talking about Sam Raimi Spider-Man, where Mary Jane is the hot girl, you get Kristen Dunst. I'm like, okay, really? That's the one he's all in love with? Come on now. Now Zendaya walks in the room, into the school, she's the hot chick. Everybody's looking for her. I could buy that Peter Parker is madly in love with this drop-dead gorgeous girl who happens to live next door to her. Kristen Dunst, that's like the one you settle for when the first five say no. I think Peter Parker could have pulled Kristen Dunst. So, but when he gets Zendaya, I'm gonna be like, oh man, good job, especially Tom Holland. But anyway, all right. So moving on, we had Mr. Vin Diesel himself, Mr. Social Media, confirmed that Guardians of the Galaxy will be in the Infinity Wars.
Call it.
Sal, keep it.
Keeping that. You have to keep that. I think I said it again. Another thing I said, well, we thought Star-Lord was already going to be in it.
Star-Lord was confirmed.
Yeah. But yeah, you have to have the whole Guardians. It can't be another Civil War where it's just a couple here, a couple there. I feel like this movie's big. Go all out. There's 67 characters. No way they're making up 67 characters out of thin air. Take what you have. So keeping that. I'm excited.
Same here. When we talked about Star-Lord, I said the same thing. There's no way just Star-Lord's going to be in here. The whole crew's going to be in there. And again, they threw out this 67 number and they keep sticking to it. So, okay, where they going to get them from?
Yeah.
Because I can't name 67 Marvel characters off the top of my head. But the other thing is that TV show or the Netflix first, they have to be in it too. I know everyone's saying they're not. They're saying this and that. They have to. 67, they have to be. Guardians was a no-brainer. It's a Thanos arc. We know that's gonna happen. What's her name? What's the green girl's name? It's not Nebula. That's the blue one.
Oh, now you're making me.
See, I only watched it once, man.
Gamora.
She's the somewhat daughter of Thanos.
Yeah,
so
she's more of adopted, I think.
But you know they got to be in it. So that's not a big shock to me. The shock is that Vin Diesel leaked it. Well, apparently he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah,
so
he was mad about The Rock.
So yeah, keep that. All right, let's move on. Mr. Gareth Edwards himself confirmed the meaning of the Rogue One title. Rogue One is a call sign for the group of misfits and whoever that are going to steal the Death Plans. It is also a meaning of the actual movie, which is the first movie to be outside of the episodic story. So it's the Rogue One. And it's also Jyn Erso, who is the Rogue One.
Okay.
So it's not Rogue One, it's Rogue One. So keep a sweet Rogue One.
I'm sweeping it just because I read his interview and it just seemed like he kind of pulled that out of his ass. Just the way he said it. They could have made this up a year ago, but the way he said it, it was like, okay. So I'm sweeping that. I get it. I understand it, but yeah. I have a better answer, man.
That's it?
Yeah.
Just sweep it? Man, I want to keep it, but Sal kind of sold me on the...
Did you read his quote? He's like,
I didn't.
Yeah, it's just like, I guess it's like the Rogue One because, you know, it's not part of the trilogy.
I would have to hear him say it. If he was like that...
Trust me, you could read it and hear him say it.
If he's like, Rogue One, you know, Jyn Erso's kind of a Rogue One.
It was kind of like that, if I remember.
I'm keeping it, man. Triple meaning. Come on, you don't get stuff like that in titles. Rogue One, we knew that was the group. Why else would they call it? Honestly, I kind of thought it was going to be one of the ships too, but I thought it was going to be the name of a ship. But it's the group. Okay, makes sense. Jyn Erso makes sense. Making it Rogue One because it's the one movie that's the first movie that's outside of the episode.
Yeah, at least that's the
cool.
part he made up.
That's cool though. That's cool.
Yeah,
it's like,
we're a meta title.
Like they're flying their flag, man, with a Rogue One all the way in 3 levels with a Rogue One. So I keep it.
Until Han Solo comes out, so it's not really. I guess it's the first Rogue One.
It's called Han Solo because
it's a solo of a guy.
It's really the story of a solo man.
Yeah. That's exactly what they're gonna say.
Okay, let's move on. Back to Thor Ragnarok. Set photos have came out with Loki and Thor traveling around New York. Loki looking like a GQ model. Thor looking like, I don't know, construction worker that just got off work, going to the bar. But the main one we want to talk about, Anthony Hopkins has popped back up. He is in this movie. Last we heard, Odin was disappeared and Loki took over. Yeah. We now see him dressed as a homeless man, what we look like a really dirty beard that looks like it was dipped in mop water. Sal, keep or sweep these photos. Also give me what your thoughts on Anthony Hopkins' role might be.
Yeah, so I like the photos and I'm keeping it because I'm sick of seeing Asgard. Sick of seeing that boring ass shit. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I don't know if they've taken this from some sort of story arc or anything like that. But yeah, so I'm interested in seeing where he's going, what I think he's doing. I feel like he's in disguise. I don't know from who, but that's just my take. Unless he just went to Earth and didn't know what to do, so he just ended up homeless after Dark World, which I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
What to do.
So, but I'm keeping it because I want to know what's going on. Keep my interest.
The photo stems. Okay, so I'll start off with some.
But you keep it sweet.
Well, I'll get to that. So I'm gonna start off with the main theory that kind of hearing between the Doctor Strange thing and this is that something happens where they need Odin's help, and Loki and Thor team up together to go find Odin, who has been discarded to Earth with his mind all messed up by Loki. And this is why they go to Doctor Strange to help trace his magical whatever and figure out where he's at. So something in that vein, because we saw the pictures where Loki and Thor very much together, not fighting each other. So all that makes a lot of sense to me. If that's the case, I have to sweep it though. Kind of like we talked about earlier. The idea that Loki messed his mind up, sent him down to Earth. Now something's going on. They find Doctor Strange to help find Odin and remind him of who he is. That's a whole movie.
I was just gonna say that.
Is a whole movie.
This doesn't seem like the movie that we thought it was.
So but we know there's a Planet Hulk element. We know there's a Ragnarok element with Surtur the demon, and then not Enchantress, Hela. How are they fitting all this in the movie? Like, I love all of it, but I dare not say this. But you're gonna get a BVS situation. And it's just like, I have to sweep it because it's just, I do not want a movie that short changes us on Planet Hulk or Ragnarok. I'm not like Sal. I love Asgard. We need to go back there because after a whole movie of Thor walking around New Mexico, I can't lift my hammer anymore. And then the Dark World and I don't even know where they were with the crazy doctor running around his underwear. I'm ready for a fantastical planet or realm surfing movie. I feel like we still got
a lot of that. It was so bogged down in the first one. I feel like the
first one I didn't get any of that.
I know, but a little of Asgard goes a long way.
Never mind. But yeah, I have to ultimately sweep that if that's kind of where they're heading because it's just too much. All right, moving on. Solo Flash movie. It was confirmed that Cyborg got real black on y'all. That Cyborg will be in the movie, which we already knew a very long time ago. Yeah. If you watched that episode, Deborah Snyder, Zach's wife, confirmed that it'd be a buddy movie. But that is now reconfirmed, I guess. And also, there's a rumor now that the movie will feature the Rogues, which is Flash's rogue gallery of villains, and not just one villain. So Sal, keep or sweep all these additions to the Solo Flash movie.
I'm keeping it because, one, you get to introduce, Cyborg, I've kept that since the start, but Rogues, you get to introduce all these new characters, all these new villains. They're a great gallery to have, and it's rumored that it's headed by Jai Courtney's Boomerang. So that one will give him more face time, and I think he was one of the good things in Suicide Squad. So that, makes me happy. But it's also after Justice League 1 and, whatever you want to call them, Justice League 1 and 2. And we didn't really know where they were going after that, and we didn't know what Flash was going to do. We thought it might have been Flashpoint or something. Right. It seems like it's going to be, now it definitely, most definitely is going to be after, in the storyline, should be after Justice League 1 and 2.
One. It's in between.
Oh, I thought it was after both. Okay, well, either way.
But Justice League
is in one movie, so now we'll see there. That's how it gets worked, even though you didn't like it.
Continue, sir.
No, it's just it gives him something to do, and at the same time introduce new people.
Sweep it, get it out of here. As a lover avid lover of the Flash TV show. I enjoy the intimate moments learning how these villains come to be against Flash and how they become adversaries. And I just think it's a mistake throwing all these villains in there. Now, if you want to do one villain plus Boomerang, because we already know why he hates Flash. He got him sent to Bella Reeve or whatever. Boom, let's go, because that's the benefit of being in Suicide Squad. The rest, we don't know. And so now we got to know why all these other people are going to be against the Flash. And we don't have time to go through everybody, and that's going to make the movie weaker. We know that it is rumored Reverse Flash is being casted. Now, he's not part of the Rogues per se, but if he's in this movie too, that is enough. Sal, you know, I've tried to explain to you the timeline and loops and how Reverse Flash hates Flash, because trust me, it is confusing.
Yeah.
And so there's no time to do all these villains in there. And even I just think you could have said, I know they don't know what the Flash is going to do. So maybe it's like, hey, we might not get another chance. Let's throw them all in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way. I just don't know if that's the way. So I have to sweep it. Cyborg, I kept that the first time. I mean, maybe having Cyborg, but even then, that makes it muddier. I'm just trying to approach this from a casual fan's point of view. We don't know what he's going to do in Justice League. It doesn't seem like we're going to learn much about Barry's background.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, you got a lot to do in this movie. Why try to throw all these villains in it? That's my thought.
That's a good point.
And why is Cyborg there?
Flashpoint.
It's not
Maybe it'd be a
Flashpoint,
Flashpoint with the Rogues in the other world, but then you still don't get...
So
Still muddy.
So we're going to give you alternative versions of villains you don't know yet. Okay.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, so that's just me. I have to sweep that. Alright, next up. Next up. Michael Pena confirmed to be returning to Ant-Man. Sal? Do you
Keeping that for my Mexico brother. He's from Pilsen, if you didn't know that.
He's from Pilsen?
Yeah. He tried out on the set one day for an extra when he was little, and this is where he is now, in Ant-Man.
Dude, Mike Pena's a beast.
Yeah, so he was one of my favorite parts. Played a very typical Mexican man, but that's okay. But yeah, him and T.I. and holy crap, I know his name.
I don't.
I do know it because he's on Fat Man on Batman. It was a very unique name. But them three were close to the top of the best in the first movie. So definitely up for it again. Hopefully they're all back together and we can all have some laughs. So keeping that.
Keep it. Definitely keep it. You haven't bring back the best part of the movie. And you know they're thinking up right now how they can do one of those little... I don't even know what to call those scenes when he's talking.
The voiceover scene.
Yeah, you know they're already thinking, and I think it might not hit you with it in the movie, but it's probably gonna be like last time where it's like leads into the end credits. I was just thinking about it. It's absolutely hilarious.
David the Small Chin. That's what it is. The Small Chin. That's how I remember that.
That is not cool. All right, and that's how we end the show on that bad note. Sal, any last thoughts? Where can the people find us?
No last thoughts.
Nah.
Twitter @theCannonBlog, on Facebook, facebook.com/thecannon.
I had some thoughts and I don't remember them. So if you heard it here, it is canon.